What's happening, weirdos? All you weird, just such weird people. You freaks. What's going on, freaks? Absolute freak shows. You fucking psychopaths. How's it going? It's Pete here, back with another episode of a wonderful chat that I had with just a really sweet guy, just a really sweet, great, nice, wonderful, sweet, just sugary sweet, sort of a honey dewdrop of a man, just a real pleasant, just sweet, wonderful, sexy, hot, strong, sweet guy. So you're going to hear that in just a little bit. That interview with him was a lot of fun. I definitely had a lot of laughs and a lot of stories of my own to share there. But before we get started, I just got to go through... I just got to go through Pete's picks real quick. All right, I only pick things that I actually use and wear. So today it's brought to you by we're bringing you. Today is sponsored by Alpha Brain pills. I think it's a pill for when I take it every morning with my coffee right before I do a podcast. Anytime I record a podcast, an episode, I take at least 7 or 8 Alpha Brain pills and a Xanax, and then I feel sharper and I feel stronger and better and just more alpha. I also love this brand CBD. This is a CBD oil called High Squirts, and it's a nice little CBD in a little squeezy bottle. So you get those oil, you squirt out some CBD oil into your coffee. I have that right in with my morning coffee. I squirt out some squirts of cannabis oil into my coffee, and then I take 7 or 8 Alpha Brains. I drink all of those fluids and random chemicals. I put them in my body, and it really gives me the sense that I'm feeling better, whether or not it's true at all. Today's episode is also brought to you by MyUndies. You've heard of MeUndies, the fantastic brand, just the hammock for your gammock. But today's brought to you by the new brand MyUndies. So Pete's picks, anything you get from MyUndies are worn by me. I'll mail you my underwear. And so if you want to get in on that product, it's $15 a month, and you get 1 pair a month. So it's $15 for a pair of used underwear, one every month. So check out MyUndies and check out all the various weird drugs and vitamins that I'm peddling. But without further ado, let's just get to the interview with my sweet guy. I love him. You will too. It's Chris Wilson.
This time, it's different with Peter and Chris. This time, it's different.
Yeah, so I was, and that's basically the end of that story. I drove the car straight into the side of the wall, and then I just got out, and I got off scot-free. Are we recording?
We're recording. How are you in your ears there? Are you good in your ears?
Yeah, no, I'm sounding good in my ears.
You're sounding
something
good.
About the sound of your own voice back. I don't know if I like it or I hate it,
Oh, I couldn't agree more. It's always like, as soon as you sound, you're like, hey there, everyone. Like, welcome to Radio Land. Welcome to Radio Pete. And then I'll listen to an episode back, and it just is kind of like it's a lot higher of a, what's the guy from Raymond? You know what I mean? It's
Raymond.
Yeah, it's Raymond. Yeah, it's actually it's Raymond.
Raymond from Ray.
It sounds a lot like. Sorry to interrupt you with that.
What's the guy from Ray? Everybody loves Raymond. The guy named Raymond. What's that Raymond guy? Raymond. Yeah, Raymond. Ray Romano. Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to think sharp. I'm trying to be on top of it, but I fumbled the ball immediately there, trying to think up the character name. And I was thinking I was like, no, not the character. What's the actor's name? And then I'm like, Romano. I've got bad news for you. It's Ray.
I mean, he's good. It is interesting that you just called him an actor there, because he is, I would say he's more of a comedian, but
that's true.
He's been doing some great movies lately.
Yeah.
Then I think that Ray Romano might be overlooked. He's overlooked. He's underlooked.
Yeah.
No one's looking at this guy.
On Everybody's Raymond, his tall brother, that guy probably regularly gets underlooked. Because he's so tall.
Yeah. Brad Garrett, yeah.
Yeah, Brad Garrett. You know all the names. What is it with you? And you know every name. But this has actually always been true of. This is some real talk here. This is true of our real lives. Do you know the show Veep?
Yeah.
So you got Julia Louis Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Okay, and her bag man, whose name I forget. Joel McHale. No.
Tony Hale.
Tony Hale. I was close.
Joel McHale. They're very different people, yeah. But
yeah, and not to say that I think that you are this in my life. Like, you're not my bag man, you're not my handler. But every time we'd be going to something, like a radio interview, or like, oh, we're going to go do a live show here in this theater that we were in a couple of years ago, you're always going to be like, all right, and that's Jake Smith, and he was our tech in Edmonton,
right.
6 years ago in Victoria. And I'll be like, Jake!
Yeah, it is true. I do have to watch out for you and the memory of names, because I'll be like, man, if Peter fumbles on this name, it's going to make us both look really bad. Peter's going to look like an asshole, but I'll look like an asshole. No one's going to go, Peter Carlone didn't remember my name. They'll be Peter and Chris didn't. So it's like, so I have to be like,
and
Peter,
do
not... In fact, say this person's name. I want you to say this person's name with confidence, because I believe that they also don't think that you know their name.
That's the other thing. It's like I feel that I'm ready to admit this now, but I regularly I would think I would get away with it. And I'm ready to admit that I probably didn't ever get away with it, I think. And you were there for a lot of the moments where I was like, hey guy, or sound, can we get this the levels up a little more?
Yeah, when it just starts to be you could just ask the question, but you do say, hey, sound guy, and then you're like, well, now you're not hiding anything. Now you can't be like, hey, I've just a question for you. Could we get a brighter light here?
Why did I say sound?
Hey, sound
guy.
Why
would I say sound?
Can you fix this light? No, I'm the sound guy. It's so there's another person around here whose name I have to remember? Fuck. Hey, I'm Gary. I'm the lighting guy. We already met. Oh,
for years. We've met for
years. And that is the other thing about Fringe too, is that you'll end up coming back to the same venues often, and you've met so many people over the year. It is, in your defense, it is difficult.
Exactly.
To remember lots of names of people that you only see once a year. But the other thing that makes it awkward is they remember our names, obviously, because it's on their piece of paper and it's in the name of our show.
Yeah. And again, in my attack, there's pieces of paper with their name as well. We get sent all the information.
Yes.
It's just that you have the emails and you do all the work. And then I just show up and I go, who's this guy? And you're like, you mean our best friend for 10 years? I'm like, oh, does he sound guy?
Yeah. And that's to say that I'm not the greatest at names either. Like,
okay, fair.
I do struggle with that. I think everybody does. Some people, I want to be one of those guys that, because I bet you Tom Cruise walks onto a movie set and he knows everybody's name because he's a psycho like that.
I was going to say, he strikes me like a full psycho. He strikes me like somebody who spends the night or like the weeks leading up to a production going over faces. Like he has a board of not just the cast, but the crew.
What a terrible guy.
And he just memorizes their names.
He gets a bad rap, I think, because, of being crazy into Scientology and stuff. But I bet you, like, that's a good quality in a person, and I bet you he has it.
Well, and he probably helped cover up the murder of David Miscavige's wife. So, Chris, now you just got back from you just got back from abroad, didn't you? Didn't you just get back from abroad? Come from away, they say. You were on the coast.
I came
splashing on the water.
I came from away
on a lobster boat.
I was on a lobster boat there. I was in Halifax. I was doing This Hour Has 22 Minutes, or as they call it for shorter, 22 minutes.
Oh, I thought they would have said This Hour.
This Hour. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Do they say 22 minutes, though?
Yeah, all the logos say 22 minutes.
I got a question for you. it is we said earlier, I said that amazing like lobster joke riff, but like I'm starting to wonder, like, do you kind of think this hour has 22 minutes? Is that the Lobster Boat work of Canadian comedy? Like, were you on the Canadian comedy Lobster Boat?
Yeah, it feels like, and I should be careful about what I'm saying from here on out.
You're gonna get into immediate legal trouble.
But it does feel like it's a thing, that it's a show. It's in its 28th season. So there are fishermen on that boat who have been on the boat. They've built the boat.
Yeah.
There are lobster fishermen on there that painted the hull. And I'm just this little deckhand coming on and trying to learn how to. My analogy is falling apart.
No, I like it. Keep going with the deckhand.
I'm a little deckhand
because
coming on
they know the ropes, right? You're
Yeah.
just showing up. It's 5 a.m. and you're exhausted, and they're like, "I get up at 5."
Oh my
every
God!
day."
Is that where the phrase "show me the ropes" comes from? Is that nautical?
Yeah. Oh, I look.
Yeah. No.
I looked this up recently. A lot of our phrases are nautical.
Like you and me specifically.
Oh well,
Like when I say "hello, Captain," every
believe it or not,
we-
that's nautical.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Or when I say like "set sail for success," like that's nautical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one? Yeah.
Yeah. Or like let's keep this wooden tall ship afloat.
Right.
That's a nautical term.
Right. And then I'm like, yeah, when rising tides float all boats.
Yep.
I've said that one before.
Clearly nautical.
When I went off to 22 minutes and I said, we're done. Fuck you. I've got a better thing. We don't need you anymore. I'm going off to sea.
Our 10
But don't
regular, our 10 regular listeners were probably like, "Where's that episode? They're missing some episodes."
Yeah, we were missing some episodes now, but the late night episode that we did, that was me using a lot of the rejected 22 minutes jokes that never got on the
Right.
show.
The bad
I was like-
lobsters that you pulled from the comedy ocean.
Exactly. So were you doing lots of that? And now, it was a fun job for sure, but it was definitely a thing of like, okay, just like keep up and
I bet.
oh, you submitted that? Oh, you think that's funny? No. It doesn't. It's not funny because it doesn't involve, maple references and Tim Hortons. It's not a Tim Hortons commercial.
Is this the episode? Is this interview the one that gets you no more jobs with 22 minutes?
I guess, yeah, because everybody's going to
careful.
listen to this. No.
Yeah.
It was a great job. I loved it.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me.
I
Let's
wrote a Tim Hortons commercial for it. No. I was in one.
wait. What? Okay. So without getting to I don't want to
Without
get you.
spilling the tea.
Yeah, I don't want to spill too much tea. I don't want to get you into
Nautical
trouble.
reference.
That's probably a not.
Because you'd be
I
drinking
guarantee
your
that's a
tea.
nautical reference.
You'd be drinking your tea in the captain's quarters.
Yeah.
And he'd pour you tea, and you'd be telling secrets in the captain's quarters, but the boat would be rocking, so you'd be spilling tea.
I think you might be actually right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're telling me an actual fact that you know for sure,
No, I
but
don't
it
know
sounds
that.
like it.
It sounds
well.
good.
Okay, here's one.
Okay.
On the right track. You've heard that like people say that all the time, right? I think
It's
that's
got
on
to
the right
be
track.
about
We're on the right
trains.
track. No, it used to be on the right tack.
You're just making stuff
No,
up.
I'm not. I'm not making it up. On the right tack meant you were on the right, like, I don't know the boat term, but like the whatever, you're tacking. You're like you're headed in the right direction.
Right.
So the expression used to be on the right tack.
Well, we're going to have to get somebody to fact check all this, and I don't think anybody will, but maybe fact check
comment
and leave
down
it.
below.
Yeah, great idea. Good engagement. That's great social engagement.
We got to keep those numbers up. We got to keep that. We got to keep that ticker off of the 0 line. We got to keep those things. We got to keep that.
Yeah.
up.
And then that's another thing. Comment and like and review as much as you can. Really
Okay,
helps.
now Krias. I
Yeah.
think that's how he would say it. Krias.
Yeah, he does do that. Krias.
Krias. Not to get you in. I'm
You
not
said
trying to
one
get you
off
in
the
trouble.
top to
What,
cut
I
you
did?
off. That was really good. Like, chat. We had a good chat.
We had a good
Chats.
chat. He opens, chat. He opens his vowels or something. We had a good chat. Now, Krias, not to get you into trouble or anything. Okay, so let's move away from any questions that might get you in trouble with the job you just finished. But who was like your least favorite cast member?
Well, to answer that, I would probably say it's important to look inward. And I was my least favorite cast member. I got in my own way more than anybody. Be up late playing video games.
I knew
saying,
Yeah.
I should go to bed. I got to be up in the crack of noon for the table read. And I just got in my own way. You could get ahead of things. You always say, like, I'm going to write a bunch of jokes this weekend. I'm going to really get ahead of, we have to put out a bunch of sketches on Tuesday. It's a very, like, weekly schedule.
Right.
It's like you record on Monday. I can imagine it's like Saturday Night Live, except at basically half the pace and with way less help. And so there's way less crew.
I mean, probably way less crew. Okay, but I mean, real talk though, like that's interesting that you say that, because I was thinking about that with comedians. We always make fun of, people like, woe is me, they have such a victim complex. But when I think about comedians, it's like those are the people that have like almost monetized that victim complex, but also we all suffer from it a little bit. Like I think, the person in the way of you getting at the comedy you want to make is always yourself. That's always my problem. And it is also video game related, or just like not just being lazy.
It's often, I don't know. Because we're getting a bit real, it sounds. I do struggle with because I'll be playing video games or I'll be watching some TV.
Yeah.
But I also put, and this is a widely often said thing, like that the writing isn't just necessarily sitting in front of the keyboard and like,
that's true.
Time to write. Like you can be writing when you go to get your groceries because you're organizing thoughts in your head. You're looking for inspiration and that sort of thing. And I think that you and I in particular are inspired by watching other stuff and seeing how we could parody it, or seeing how we call it parodying it, but other people might be like, they're stealing completely. So it's
that's what we I like that we call it like, or the term like homage, where people are like, I'm paying homage to it, and it's like, no, you're not, you're just using it. You just took the bit.
It's like our show Hungry Heart Motel. It like starts off as Hardy Boys and like pretty much the plot point of one, and then we're like, okay, and then it'll switch into the plot point of The Shining for the rest of it, and it is. It's
and we'll just we'll just use the plot points.
But we'll be making our own jokes along the way, using that structure and that skeleton.
I know how we'll honor this story. We'll do the story.
And
I mean, in our
we'll
defense,
hide
though,
the references too so deeply that some people think that we've made the story up.
Of course, and
it's right there.
Let them think that. I always think that, like, in our defense, though, I think that our level of distractiveness and like not quite fully getting the details right actually help us make that, like, turn that into a parody. So it's like when we set out to do our Christmas show, which was very much like a Christmas Carol, it's important almost to not actually look up the plot of the Christmas Carol, but just see what you can remember and then write it again. But only from memory, and then you end up with a pretty funny parody of it.
And we had way too many ghosts, but there's 3.
So did they. So did they. They said 3 ghosts. He was talking to the 4th one already. There was 4 ghosts total.
Tonight you'll be visited by 3 ghosts.
And it's like, what about you?
I don't count.
Yeah, apparently he didn't count, but he was like fully a ghost. And maybe wasn't he the scariest one? No.
Oh yeah, no.
The final
Grim
ghost.
Reaper's definitely the scariest.
But I mean,
one.
seeing your old dead friend is like pretty rough.
Oh yeah, chains in the hallway kind of thing. Like
that's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
The giant death ghost is also terrifying at the end. Ghost of Future, that one.
The Ghost of Future Past.
He's regularly depicted as like he or she is regularly depicted as like some sort of like a death thing with like this, with the scythe and the shit.
Oh
and the
yeah,
coverings.
Ghost
like
of.
that.
I said it weird. Ghosts of Futures.
What did you say?
Come.
I wasn't
Ghost
listening because I was
Past.
I was just interrupting you and I was thinking about my next riff. But what
That's
you
on
said,
brand to the pod.
what you said is interesting because it makes me think about something that I did recently, which it's like, this is our process. This is how we create stuff. And I was thinking, I think I'm in the wrong. I'm saying this before this story, and then I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
But essentially, I was pitching some video stuff, pitching a project I wanted to make, and during the meeting,
Thanks
I
for,
was
thanks for the invite.
Yeah. No, it was not. It's nothing that you. I mean, we could fly you out here, but it's not something you'd want to be in. But it's a commercial. I can't say for what, but basically, I was pitching it, and I was sharing. It was a Google Zoom thing, and I was sharing a Google Doc. I was sharing my screen. We're having the meeting. I'm sharing the moments in the pitch. We're having this meeting. I forget that I'm sharing the screen. We're trying to problem solve and talk about some different things we could do. And absent-mindedly, I click on something else. Right. I click away. We're in the middle of a conversation trying to solve a problem. And I'm looking at Steam. I was looking at like a video game I wanted to get. And I look over at my private chat here, and I see sharing. Your screen is showing. And then eventually, the producer, she's like, and just to let you know, we can see your screen. And I was like, oh, right. Yep. Sorry. I'll just click away from that. And basically I'm glad that's all I was looking at was like video games. But like the most embarrassed I could possibly be in the middle of a pitch. It was heartbreaking.
You are 2 feet out the door on it. Already playing your new video game. It
was like
you're looking at reviews for some Viking video game.
I'd already moved on, but it was like, first of all, in my defense, like wasn't much going on in the meeting. It wasn't me they were talking to or about, so I was like, oh, my brain isn't fully needed right now. I'm going to check out. But then again, in my defense, that's how you and I would make stuff. And it's a very slow process, but we get distracted.
Yeah, we do get distracted.
But you have to be able to get distracted.
But that's the other thing too, where it's like, if I'm doing something else, but I'm actively trying to think about a topic, that's why fidgeting. People fidget.
Oh,
right?
and below the camera right now, I'm holding this.
Was that like a koosh? What is that?
Julie bought it for me. I don't know what it is. You used to be able to squeeze it, but now it doesn't fill with air anymore.
I don't know if you could have. This is what I've been playing with.
Have you just had that in your hand the whole time?
Well, I've been like clutching it off camera here, just like because it feels cool to grip it, right?
Yeah, that's a lot cooler than.
But I haven't been pushing it because of the obvious reasons. I'm holding a drill in case anybody.
Oh, for those that are listening.
This.
Yeah, that's true. I'm always holding, every time we're writing something or planning something, I'm always holding some sort of a fiddle device. And sometimes I'm looking at video game reviews.
And that's fine because, we've written shows while playing Minecraft, and we're both actively playing it, though. And it's good, and we can riff.
That makes me kind of sad because, like, do you remember that? Like, that's the server files are out there somewhere, and this might be a little bit of a deep Star Trek reference for you, but I kind of feel like we have a Moriarty out there just still running and still living its life. Because, like, we had chickens and we had like a farm going. In our Minecraft
Well, if I could
world.
cut you off for a second, you just talk so much, and I'd love to. I thought that this server was a great example of our personality types. We're both in this Minecraft world. No one else can come into this Minecraft world. You can choose, if you haven't played Minecraft, it's just Lego, right? And you can choose different biomes, and just the choice of, like, Peter chose the farmland, and he built like this castle militantly out of stone. It's just like with turrets and farmland, just a classic, organized. You probably had blueprints that you had drawn out or something. Like, it was really organized and well designed, and everything had its place.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like that too. We both enjoy playing Minecraft because you get to like control your own thing. But I chose like the jungle biome where I climbed up a tree and built this fort out of the trees, and then had cascading waterfalls coming
Falling
down.
Waters, you called it.
I called it Falling Waters as a a reference to a famed architect. I'm gonna mess his name up. Wright is his last name.
Robert Wright?
Frank Lloyd Wright?
Frank Lloyd Wright. I think you're right. I think you nailed it.
Did I?
I just took
Falling
a
Waters.
wild swing with Robert.
But it was like I'm in the jungle. I've got little pockets of houses, very Ewok, very like disorganized in its organization, or it's organized in its disorganization.
Yeah, I get you what you're saying.
But
no,
it,
but
like-
you know where everything is.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why like so I went to Halifax for these 7 weeks, and I have roommates, and I left, and like I get so anxious coming home because I know it's not like we live in the nicest place, but I try and keep it clean, and everything's in its spot.
Yeah.
And I know after 7 weeks, stuff's gonna be out of its spot.
Stuff's moved because you weren't there to police.
I'm not there to police it, to even do.
So, okay, in the same way, when you were in Halifax, did you have a certain similar to where you like everything? Okay,
Yeah.
go with me on this. Follow me here. Did you have a way that you liked to make comedy? And when you get there, everyone else has a little different view of where they want to put the couch.
Oh, that's
And you're
fun.
just like, oh man, I thought this would have been how we approached.
Well, I mean,
making
one thing
comedy.
that I learned pretty quickly was that everything I write is way too long, and like I knew that these things have to be short, but like you load it into their program that sort of like then feeds into their monitors, so during the show you can read it. And it gives you an estimated time count, and everything that I did was like 4 minutes to 3 minutes 30 seconds kind of like length, coming in at around 6 pages in the way they format it, but they want it to be like 1:50.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I'm writing things that are double too long.
Yeah.
And then I have to just, it's not the structure of like a classic like Second City sketch where you got the platform, you've got 3 beats to escalate it.
Right.
And then you kind of like a denouement sort of moment after the 3 beats, and then you get out of the sketch by
A big
making
punchline.
the first joke again, usually.
Right. Okay.
In a different way. They have that at Second City. They've got like a literal diagram that is a pyramid that sort of goes in that like
Yeah.
escalate, and then often a character will learn something or have a change of heart after it's been escalated, and then the rug's pulled out, or there's several ways to end a sketch, but often it's just going back on the first joke in a way.
So how is it?
But
Wait,
at
how is it
second-
different?
Or at 22 minutes, the reason is like so that you get so many commercial parodies because they're easy to make short and they're easy to like escalate in 3 beats, And a commercial is also only 30 seconds anyway, so a commercial parody is about 30 seconds too. So there's so many commercial parodies, and game shows are very easily 1, 2, 3 out kind of thing.
Yeah, I did notice that, like, and I've only seen a few sketches, so I might be way off on this. And I'm just gonna barrel through and with what I was gonna say anyway.
Okay.
But like, I did notice that there's always like there's somebody in the driver's seat in the sketch, and I know that's true of most comedy, but there's with 22 minutes, it's not like you're not gonna get the like hot tub sketch from SNL. Like you're not gonna get like weird characters so much as you're gonna get like somebody who's driving the bus. Like a newscaster who's like, I'm here interviewing, and then the sketch happens.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's like classic weird guy, normal guy.
Yeah.
I say all the lines that set you up for the fun stuff. And then like, but yeah, and then there's a lot of like, people write a lot of song parodies as well, because it's, as a writer there, that's an easy, you're kind of have to write 4 sketches on Tuesday all in one go, so that's a kind of an easy like I've done one. Changing just Weird Al-ing a song.
Yeah. Oh man, so the writing schedule is you start on Monday with just like riffing and pitching.
No,
and then
you
by
you do
Tuesday
the show
they're-
on Monday. I mean, it was a bit different for me because I was performing there, but it was
Yeah.
like on Tuesdays you pitch in the morning, and then you basically have until 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday to write 4 sketches.
Okay, so Monday's the
And-
show, right?
I would end up spending so long because I'm writing sketches that are too long, and you can like
Right.
one of your sketches could be like, it's sort of like a bit of a, you could just make a couple good jokes instead of trying to cram a bunch of good jokes into one thing, and then it's too long and it doesn't get on the show.
I mean,
I
that's
don't
good.
know.
That's classic Peter and Chris, right? Like we would have trouble keeping our full length shows under an hour. It would always get so long
Yeah.
because we'd be like, well, but then we have to have this scene and we got to
Well,
tell
that's
this
why
part.
I love that saying. That's like, sorry, sorry, it's so long. I didn't have time to write it short.
It's
Which
true.
is like it takes so much more effort to write something short.
But I feel like also in
And
our
good.
attack, our expression should be like, "Oh, sorry, it's so long. I don't want to write it short. I don't feel like I want to play video games."
We're trying to fill up an hour's worth of time,
Yeah.
and then we got carried away with the fun, and then never edited it down.
Yeah, and you know who's going to edit it down for us? The audience not laughing
Exactly.
for over certain parts for like a year, and then we're like, "Well, we better cut that part out."
Yeah. I do miss that way of writing something, because I mean with this I was just writing by myself in a room. I phoned you a couple times to like
Yeah.
just hear my thing out loud, and if you had a joke, but then it's like you just perform it, or you shoot it, and then it's shown to the audience, and they either laugh or they don't, and then it doesn't get on the show because they didn't get laughs. You
Right.
don't have time to.
Oh yeah, you can't.
You
fix
don't
it.
get to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
It's like that idea is dead and gone.
So it's
It
almost
was
like
either
yeah.
some like in the shooting of it went weird, or the editing of it wasn't up to what I thought, and I could be like, let's
Such good experience, though. That's cool.
I guess
Now,
so.
and this
Yeah,
does
no,
this
it was. Yeah.
This reminds me of a thing that I'm going to bring up and just like mention. It's a story of mine, but I think it's something that I want to check in with you about, which is I gave you a pitch. In one of those days, you were calling me. You're like, "Oh, I need to come up with some sketch ideas," and I
said
want to
it out
know.
loud. I
I
did
want to
say
know
it.
if how it went. So basically,
It's-
the pitch was.
Yeah, you want to say it?
I was trying to think of something nice and Canadian because that's what we're trying to do, like good
Yeah.
Canadian content, like a sketch, but about our history or something. And I was thinking about Canada's contribution to the space program. One of our most famous contributions is the Canadarm. And so my pitch to Chris, to you, I think if I remember it right, was, what if we do some joke about there's budget cuts, like Canada doesn't have the same amount of money being given to the space program. Maybe you could even say COVID, right? Like we just don't have enough money. So instead of the Canada arm, what we are contributing to the NASA, like the new space missions, is a Canadian with arms. And the joke being, we're going to send up this guy like Hank or whatever, Stephanie, whoever, just a Canadian with just a really good reach. And then anytime an astronaut would be trying to get something, the Canadian would come and be like, "Oh, there, bud. Let me just go ahead and reach and grab that for you." Canada arm.
Russia's,
Them Canada
Russia's
arms.
reaching for something, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is Canada's job here."
Yeah.
Let me
Oh,
just.
sorry.
I'm the one with it's kind of my thing. I got the best arms here. Let me just
Yeah.
reach in there.
You guys study the black holes, and you guys study what dark matter is. But if you need a wrench, that's kind of my thing.
Anything? You want me to float you something over? You want me to pick up that space rock? Oh, no, don't use the grabber. I got that. There you go.
And they have something else called a grabber.
What are you doing? You
Don't
just
bring
put
that.
your fucking human dust on that space rock. What? What's the thing? I don't know.
Why do you have a grabber? You've got a perfectly good Canadian.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Okay, so wait. Okay, so it sounds like you did pitch
Okay,
it. You
so
said it out loud.
just say that one sentence. Just say Canada, Canada arm
yeah,
or Canada arm.
yeah.
What about Canadian with arm? And I'm gonna give you the reaction that they gave me back.
I'm
so
so
you can
nervous.
feel it. So you can feel
I'm
it.
so nervous. This is gonna hurt my feelings. I think.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I know it hurts.
All right. So, hey guys, I got a quick idea. Do you know the Canada's like the Canadarm?
Yeah.
What about a Canadian with arms?
Oh yeah. 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 No, write it. Write it up. Yeah. Yeah, I can see. I'll look at anything. I'll look at anything.
And did they not look at you that whole time? They were just looking away like, yeah,
Well,
right.
just everyone's sort of like
Thinking.
your ideal thing is that you want everybody to just laugh at the mere sentence,
And then you're done.
and
You've got
everybody's on board, and then they go, oh yeah, and then Russia wants to come in and pick up a rock, but Canada goes, that's my
you write all their
department,"
riffs
and
down.
then everybody's like, and then you're like,
Yes.
yes, and then you're typing and you're going, yes, perfect, that's perfect, and they're going, I got another idea. Hey, Chris, this is the best. This is on the show for sure.
And then
Stuff like that.
you see the producer in the corner like get out their checkbook and they're like, I think they're writing me a bonus. So they just.
Well, I'm
so
going to
is-
write all the jokes down in the memo section of this check right here. Fuck. Just make sure that this extra bonus is for these sick jokes.
So is that how they kill a sketch? They go write it up. They're just
Yeah,
like,
it's just
write
kind of
it
like,
up.
yeah, write it up. I'll read anything. I'll read anything. And they do. They read anything. That's the other thing about that pitch meeting is you could pitch anything you want and then write anything you want later. Like,
Right.
it's just to like hear your ideas out loud, and if anybody.
I mean, that's nice at least. That's
ideas.
good.
But yeah, that I don't like it. No one likes pitching because you're
No.
like, I thought this was funny. Hey, here's a bit of myself, everybody. This is a bit of my sense of humor. It's crazy in my head here. Let's see if I can see if I can articulate properly this idea so that you can laugh as well. Here it comes. Something I care about. Here we go.
My least favorite moment of that, and I love that you said like, "Here's a piece of me," because that's exactly what it feels like.
totally
You're like,
it.
"This is here's a tiny chunk of my soul that I carved out and put on this paper." And my favorite version or my favorite response to that is like, so we'll pitch an idea, and we kind of go all in on working one idea, and we'll pitch this idea for like a commercial or some video content or whatever, and then on the other end of the Zoom right now, it's like smiling faces, like. Cool. And then one of them always goes, and was that the only one? Was that the only idea? Or they'll go like, okay, and any more ideas?
Any
Or
more? Fuck.
and you're like, but this was the idea I thought. I loved
Obviously, this is my best one because I started with it.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
You thought you didn't like that? It's gonna get worse from here. I promise.
Just once, I wish I had just once I wish I had the confidence to be like, what do you think? And they're like, so is that the only idea? And you're like, of course. What do you think? What, I started with my weakest idea? No.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know. I don't know if you wanted to like, because if you wanted to like launch into some of the other topics that they talk about on You Made It Weird. I know that you don't listen to it very much, but I could guide you.
So wait, hang on a minute here.
No, this has been awesome. This has been
This
very
kind of
much
feels like
it.
my pitch just got rejected or something. You were like, all right, so are you sure this is going well, Peter?
Yeah. Did you want to move on to the next thing or?
Listen, Chris, you know, we always talk about God on this podcast, all right? And it's clear that you don't want to talk about 22 minutes anymore.
He always talks about comedy, God, and sex.
Oh, yeah. Well, so you and I haven't had sex before, but we definitely have had the occasional God talk.
Yeah.
And if you've ever listened to any episodes of this podcast, you will know that you could scrub to any moment in any one of our podcasts and it'll probably be about God. So we might as well check in with you. Where are you at with God at the moment? What's your God situation?
What's my God situation? Like what? Like I believe in him, or
Yeah, the Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior. Like, where are you at with that?
because
Where are you at with that?
As a person who went to church as well, not just Pete Holmes, but Peter Carlone too. I'm just trying to draw just for the
Listen, you don't need to tell
the
What are you
audience
gonna
at home. The similarities between Pete Holmes and Peter Carlone
I see.
are quite there. Just so, but so you have a lot of God stuff to talk about, which we actually even talked about on an episode. But I will answer your question now. I went to church growing up as a kid. We went to an Anglican church. On Sundays, that's when church happens.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All this checks out so far.
Sometimes it's on a Saturday if you're Catholic, I guess.
Seventh-day Adventist too, I think.
Yeah. So Anglican, it's sort of like a Catholic light kind of situation there.
Yeah.
No Mother Mary, I suppose, is the difference. I don't know. And you can divorce. A little history on Christianity here. Louis the Seventh, I believe, was the reason Anglicanism is a thing is because he wanted to change the rules for himself so that he could divorce his wife.
Now, Chris, I don't mean to interrupt you. All right,
Yes.
Because again, we're asking about your personal,
Right,
like,
not
where you
about
at with
history,
God.
not
Yeah,
about my history with God.
and
I was
also-
giving you the history.
Yeah, and I would say you were giving me the history, but I'm not. And I don't mean to be this guy,
Sure.
like that's like being rude or whatever about it. I feel like you were giving the incorrect history. Because first of all, I'm pretty sure Louis is a French king, and second of all, it was King Henry VIII,
Henry VIII.
not Louis the Seventh.
Louis the Seventh.
You were off by a dude and one king, one king and a dude.
Well, that's why you're here, and that's why it's your podcast, and you're the one obsessed with God. So let's talk more about him.
And Chris, of course, I'm obsessed with God, but I'm also obsessed with knowing where you're at with God in this moment.
Yeah. So at this moment, I would say it is, the difference between agnostic and atheist, I guess, has often been because agnostic, does that mean that you just haven't put much more thought into it?
Yeah, basically, I think so. I think
Atheist is being like,
No.
we couldn't. No, he doesn't, or he could.
Yeah.
But there's no way we can know. Is that right?
Well, I guess so. Yeah. I think there's different types, just like there's different types of Christians. I think there's different types of atheists, right?
Yeah.
There's atheists that are like, there's probably nothing. Then there's your Ricky Gervaises who are like, there's definitely
Of course
nothing.
he doesn't exist.
You're gonna
Of
die.
course not. It's mental.
It's mental. I saw this tweet by him that was like,
That's absurd.
this tweet he put out was enjoy this life, you'll never exist again. And it's like, okay, I guess that
This
makes
guy's
you
a-
feel good, Ricky.
Just a
Jesus.
buzzkill.
Yeah. He's honestly, he's a buzzkill is the best way to describe him, or like Stephen Gould, I think is another, like he's a there's no God kind of person.
Right.
And
My
and it
favorite
really,
atheist
you are a
is
buzzkill.
Penn
Oh yeah.
Jillette.
Penn
Because
Jillette.
he's articulate about it in the way of like, and I think he is more of that, like, well, we don't know. You can't know.
Yeah.
You can't have faith. Faith that how can anyone go, there is a God for sure? We're all given the same info.
Yeah. And I think, in one way.
I don't know really where I fall, quite honestly. There's like the part of me that is like, yeah, there's something. There feels like there's something bigger. I certainly have moments where I pray again.
Yeah.
Like where I'm like,
it's nice. It's
oh,
a good
man.
check-in.
You can hear what you're feeling out loud. It's like
Yeah.
the thing about like there's something for everybody, and like if tarot cards are your thing, we're all kind of like looking at the same stuff and trying to make sense of the same thing. So if like if you're like, yes, God is the thing that I'm using to make sense of all of this, of like be good, here are the set of rules we should all live by, live a good life. We all should have that. We all should do that. And tarot cards are like you ask the cards questions that are important to you right now, and you have to find your own answer, basically. Or
and then you flip the card
cards,
over,
and you
and
go,
the cards...
"Oh, I see how this could relate to me," and now I know what's important and what's not in a way.
Yeah,
because this is showing me the devil card, or the Seven of Pentacles, and you're like, that sounds horrible. The Seven of Pentacles?
I don't even know what that is. It sounds like tentacles. I like the idea I like the idea that you get your tarot cards, you flip it over, and you're like, what is my life going to be like? And then you flip it over, and then the card's like, I don't know, a fucking juggler? And you're like, I die tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be a juggler. I never have. And then you the cards go, exactly. Now you know a little more, don't you? It's like when you flip a coin and you ask, you're like, oh, I can't decide. You flip a coin. Should I go to the store or should I not?
See, and
it comes up heads. I'm not going to the store, and you're like, I wish it was tails.
I see exactly what you're saying here. You're saying that it's random chance and it's meaningless and not real, and I understand what you're saying there. But so when you said you pray occasionally, I don't know why this popped into my head, but I kind of see you, and I hope this doesn't seem like an insult. I kind of see you as like a kneel by the side of your bed, cross your hands, praying kind of guy.
When I was a kid, I definitely would kneel. I would totally kneel by my bed as a boy. And then, these days, it's often in a time of like, oh, can this go right this time, please? Like, Lord, I promise you, I don't need to learn this lesson. Make this just go right. I don't need this to go wrong.
I don't need to learn this lesson.
I don't need to learn a lesson every time. I've got this one.
It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine. Just let it go right. It's in moments like that.
Yeah. As a teenage boy, I was also like, I would kneel over my bed to pray, but the problem is it would make me horny. Kneeling over my bed.
Pillow? You start humping the mattress. I remember lying on my stomach playing Lego. And having that feeling of like, oh God, what's happening down there? Like just being like laying flat on the floor.
Yeah. And the Lego was just so hot.
Yeah. And the feeling of thinking that because I not knowing what it was at all. And be like, this is this annoying thing that happens to me when I'm trying to fucking play Lego. And that I could squish the top of it so that the penis would go back into me. You know what I mean? And I did that all the time.
It back. You're like, get out of here.
I would squish it away. Not like a jerking. It wasn't even close to jerking off. I had no idea. I'm like a boy. And you're just like, just go away. So yeah, so I believe in God, but it's not an active part of my life. Like I'm not going to church. I feel there's a spirituality that I have, but I haven't like gone like, well, Christianity is absolutely where I lie, and I love going to church, and I love singing out of this book. Like that's the ritual of church almost like makes me not want to think about it. Because I'm like, okay, so if you believe in God and you want to believe in God, and then you're like, okay, well, there's this place where everybody goes and does this sort of thing about believing in God. It's super boring. There's lots of old people there that are going to be mildly racist to you. Certain sects of this don't even like are now going back on like if gay people should be allowed to go to heaven, and you're like, get that part away. I don't want any of that shit.
You want the spiritual part.
Or like, so I don't know where that really exists. And like when I was in high school, I would go to this youth group, and that was always fun. That was a nice outlet for that. It was just like, hey, we're all meeting up. There's a lot of your friends here. These are some, and there's lots of cute girls you can hit on. No one's hitting on each other. You can flirt with. I don't think I've ever.
I believe the term is get fresh with.
Get fresh with. No one was hitting on each other in grade 10. And then you get to like play some games and do like group games, and then you sing songs. And then the closest you get to singing a hymn is that you're singing a U2 song. And it's like, with or without you. And you're like, hey, who are we singing about right now? Could be God. Doesn't matter. It's U2. It's fucking rock and roll, baby. And then we all go to McDonald's after.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun.
I was like, I'm in for that. And then my parents sort of stopped pressuring me to come out to church on Sundays. And I would do the youth group thing. And then theater school happened. And I don't want to get up on to go to church on Sundays.
The problem is the getting up.
The getting up. It's brutal.
Here's the thing. Like I definitely feel like this is where I'm the most like Pete Holmes is on his recent special. He was talking about there could definitely be nothing. That's one of the options, but it could just as equally be something, because he's like, all of this is crazy enough that it already exists. That it's like, if there was something after death, I would not be surprised at all.
Yes.
If we died, it was like, welcome to the great egg, I'd be like, that's awesome.
And I think that's exactly where I fall too. I'm going to take that answer. I love that. I feel like that's sort of what I've been trying to say, and you just said it better in one sentence.
I just feel like,
there's no making sense of any of this.
Yeah. And I also have
any scenario is possible.
I have this internal
here for any of them.
I have this internal rule that I call the like come on rule, where it's like you'll be out in the woods hiking around, and you're like, oh yeah, well, like why is there any stuff at all? And then you kind of look out at the sunset and you're like, I mean, come on. There's not nothing.
Exactly. There's something happening.
There's some reason this is all going on.
This is science. There's a little bit of magic here. There's some magic.
Come on. There's some magic. Yeah, you see something like a rainbow and you have no idea why you have to look at it, but you know that you have to look at it. And it does kind of feel like a chapter or like a little mark that you put in the book of your life. You're like, I put a little line right here at this moment. And you're just like, I mean, come on, that's not nothing.
Well, it's like listening to some scientist explain their take of the Big Bang and how the world started and why we're all here now and we've all evolved. Can just get to be as nuts a concept as
That's
just like
true.
And then there's some guy in the sky who like snapped his fingers and we're here. Like it's still insane.
Yeah, it's the same level of like, I guess.
Okay, so all billions and billions of years ago, I guess a spark happened.
In nothing?
Lit some gas on fire or something. I don't know how that happened. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and then there's a sense that it's like, oh, well, it does that, and then it very slowly recompresses, and it does it again. It's a cycle, maybe. Maybe that's a theory. And I'm like, okay, first of all, shut up. You have no idea for real. And second of all, okay, fine. But then why that?
Yeah,
and I guess
scientists
that's like,
are just priests. They're the same. Everybody's just taking guesses.
Yeah.
And we go to them and we're like, hey, so in the Bible when it says that all that horrendous stuff about like killing people and maybe don't have sex with people your own sex, and they're like, it's not really it's not really even in there, literally. You guys, you might want to look at this rule again. I think we've had it wrong for a while.
I think we spelt it wrong.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, God, what have we done?
Oh, no. Should we update what it is and then fix this wrong?
Tell no one.
Okay, well, I think that God is very on your soul, and it's very in your mind, because I tried to transition to making it very weird about sex stuff, and you just doubled right back into God. So I think this is important to you, and I'm glad to see
What were
that.
you trying, the weird sex stuff?
I just asked what
we
your
talked
penis
about
was
it
like.
a bit. Yeah, penises. Yeah.
I think it's time to get to the lightning round. So I've prepared a bunch of questions for you. You're gonna try and answer them as fast as you can. We do it every time, every episode. We do this, and you know, it might remind me of a story or two that I'll totally interrupt you and then just like say. But for now, are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get going as fast as you can. The hardest you've ever laughed.
What? The hardest I've ever laughed?
The hardest you've ever laughed.
Right.
Hopefully it wasn't just then.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean,
hopefully you've laughed harder than that.
There's like in my life, could be stupid, could be anything. The hardest I've ever laughed. Like, you know, I do listen to this podcast, and this question comes up almost every episode. You're not wrong. And I have a hard time thinking of one, and I think it would have to just be, honestly, probably just some fart. Just some fart at some point. I remember laughing Oh, as I'm talking it out loud, I remember laughing with my cousin so hard. We were in Kelowna. We would visit over Christmas sometimes, and I'd go to their house and we'd stay with them, and I'd stay in my cousin's room. He was the same age as me. My brother would stay in my other cousin's room that was the same age as him. So I would just be sleeping on his floor, and I remember like we were having a fart competition, and we were conjuring them up. Like he would rip one, and then like let it out into the room, and then I would rip one and open up my sleeping bag and let it out, and we just kept ripping them over and over, and then we were laughing so hard at the farting, and then that we were making so much noise that my aunt came in, his mom. She opens the door and she's like, guys, and she's just like, oh my God, it smells like farts in here. And we lost it because it confirmed that it smelled bad. And just she was smacked. The way she got hit with that wall of farts as she enters the room, she doubled back. She's just like, oh my God. I remember that's
probably a hard laugh.
And not one of those last times where you're like, oh my God, I can't breathe. Those I can't breathe laughs.
Yeah.
Have I had one of those? It's tough to say. Like this past year, if I've had one of those laughs where you're like, it's so hard I can't breathe. And is that a sad comment?
I don't know. I mean,
I laugh
maybe
a lot
a bit.
in life.
Yeah, laughing a lot. I think that's still good, and you're still ready for it. I think you're still open for the experience of a laugh so hard you can't breathe.
Yeah. I'm
now,
here.
and just thinking.
It's just like I've heard every joke at this point,
Just thinking about it, I have, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have, in this moment, if I think about it, I have a top 3 that I'm tied for. One of them is when you and I went to go see Chelsea Parody do stand-up, I think at the Chan Center for Performing Arts.
Oh, yeah, that was a good show, for sure.
That one was a hot show. That was very funny.
So Bob
the other one,
Dave,
yeah, that's
Mr.
right.
Show reunion show.
Oh, yeah, it was the Mr. Show reunion. Yeah. That's right. And it was wildly unrehearsed for some reason, but then the stand-up was really good.
Yeah. For some reason, they were throwing it together. Like some executive was like, "Guys, do you want to do this?" And they were like, "What? Yeah, sure."
Yeah, they were like, "Do you want to do this?" And then they were like, "Yeah, not really, but we will." That's what it felt like. And then the other 2 things I remember laughing super hard at.
Chelsea Parody's that that made you laugh?
It was like I was laughing the whole time, and then I just couldn't keep up with how hard I was laughing. Was when she was talking about how annoying it is, like those types of people that you can hear when they smile, and then she just put her mouth up to the mic and did the sound, and it was like hearing the separating of the lips and the dry movement,
smacking of the mouth when somebody smiles. It's like.
Ew. Yeah, and it was just her timing and the way she nailed the sound, and you could just hear that. And you're like, oh my God, that is the worst. And then the other 2 are 2 tweets. One of them is the I'm sure you've heard these ones before. The tweet, one of my favorite tweets that just had me rolling on the floor, was just a very simple tweet. What's your favorite movie about lamb silence?
yeah, that's a good one.
Because it's like, oh, I know exactly what movie I'm thinking of, but it's not about that. And then the other one I really like is I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am 4 eels. I never meant to make your daughter cry. I am several fish and not a guy.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am 4 eels. Yeah, that's a good one. I remember one of just the most recent tweet that I laughed at. I was like, fuck, it's perfect. It was such a visual joke, and I'll see if I can even do it. It was just like, why is it spelt camouflage and not... And it was just like a blank. It's just blank.
You can't see it. That'd be a way better word for it, whatever that word is.
Yeah, whatever that word is. It's perfect. And
I couldn't
just
see it.
I was like, oh my God, I threw my phone. That's perfect.
Oh, that's
a perfect
so funny.
tweet.
That's a perfect tweet. Yeah, those ones make me so jealous all the time.
Yeah.
What's your favorite plant?
You're just like,
It's the lightning round. We're
right.
supposed to be
Okay.
going
Yeah.
fast.
This is your interpretation of the lightning round. My favorite plant is, I think it would be a palm.
Yeah.
Just like a house palm. Because I love the way that they fill a corner. You can pop a palm into a corner and it makes your home seem like homier right away.
I love it.
Makes it seem homely.
That's a great
In a
pick.
good
I think
way.
that's a classic favorite
Or a
plant.
pothos, just because
What is
of
a
the
pothos?
ease of growing it and
What is
the way.
that?
Well, it's just like your classic devil's ivy, your classic house ivy, your sort of a broad leaf. You
Chris,
have them in your house. I'm fairly certain you have
Chris,
them in your corners.
are you just a little green thumb? I didn't know that about you.
I think we all
I
became
guess I
green
did.
thumbs this year.
Oh,
didn't we?
definitely. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I worked at Butchart Gardens in Victoria for
Oh,
several
yeah.
years, and a little bit rubs off for sure. I like
forgot
a
about that.
rhododendron. Love a rhododendron. When those rhodos are in bloom, baby, ooh, several colors.
Yeah, I
Lovely
like the
springtime.
idea, and I think we've thought up. This has got to be a new web series we could make very easily, which is just like a bunch of like bros working at a very pretty nature park, like a very pretty
Talking
flower
about
garden.
the flowers.
So like all the customers that they deal
Ooh,
with
you smell
are
those
like,
hyacinth? The
Yeah.
lovely hyacinth today. I love the way that smell hits you. Can't get enough of that hyacinth.
all the customers we deal with are like beautiful old ladies, and then all of the people that work it are just a bunch of bros. The road skis are coming in real nice today.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh man. Hey, Mrs. Jackson, do you want me to wrap up these hydrange? Do you want me to wrap up the hydrange for you? Yeah, you want to take these hydrange to go? Absolutely.
Well, no, she's gonna have them there.
Oh, did you check out the roses today? I was trying to shorten roses, but it's pretty short.
Maybe the R skis.
Oh, freaking the friggin' prickly buds. Oh. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, let's make that. Okay, Chris, what's your favorite drink?
My favorite drink. You know, which would it be?
This is the lightning round.
I'm going right, lightning round. Do it fast. Okay, first thing that came to mind is bubbly sparkling water.
Oh,
the amount
okay.
that I have been pounding these things back this year in general is at an astounding rate.
That's a healthy
Buy them
drink.
at 24 at a time, and they don't get through the week. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
I think my power ranking of bubbly waters, I'm very passionate about them. It goes grapefruit number 1.
Oh,
New pineapple number 2. It's quite
Whoa.
refreshing.
Really?
Cherry. Do not overlook cherry bubbly water. It's fantastic. It's like a Dr. Pepper, but none of the sugar, 0 calories. Lovely. It's like a cherry Coke. It really takes that craving for a Coke away. And then after that, you're gonna get into the lime. Lime's fine. It's fine. It's an appropriate drink. You're like, yep, it's everything you want it to be. Then after that, orange, also just equally good. Everything you want, but something about like, or it's already into orange juice territory, but it's lacking the sweetness. I don't know. I don't like it as much. Then we get into blackberry.
Oh my
Lovely.
goodness.
Another good flavor. But again, the berry ones are my least favorite of the bubblies, with strawberry coming in at dead last. Get it off the shelves in that don't buy it. Get it out of the stores.
I'm going to admit something to you, which is that I haven't tried a single one of these flavors except for the one you didn't mention, which I assume is like in your basement level, which is lemon. That's
There's
like the
no
only one
lemon.
I've tried.
There's no lemon bubbly.
I've had lemon bubbly.
You
I think
have?
so.
I don't think so.
Have I not?
I don't think you have. There's peach, which didn't make my ranking because I haven't had it yet.
There's lemon. I'm sure there's lemon.
I don't believe that there is, and we can look that up. There are a bunch of weird flavors in the States that we don't get here, like watermelon. We don't get it, and blueberry pomegranate. We don't get it.
Wow.
Yeah, those are good flavors.
We truly live in a third world country. Okay, if Chris,
They get
Chris,
vaccines up the. And
oh yeah,
bubbly,
we have
every
no
bubbly.
vaccines. If you could eat anything right now as a meal, you're probably getting a little hungry. What would you eat? Just think of it really quickly. What would you eat right now?
Right now, normally I'd say sushi, but I just had sushi when I got back, so I'm gonna say that I'm craving Jerk King.
I love Jerk King.
I want some jerk chicken. From if you're in Toronto and you don't know what Jerk King is, what are you doing? Get some Jerk King right now. Just get the small order; it's fine, and the rice and peas. You're gonna love it.
What? Okay, if you could punch one person from history,
Okay.
but you can only punch them,
Okay.
who is it?
Jesus, he wouldn't punch back.
I feel like he would punch back. He'd
Yeah,
like flip
it's-
tables and stuff.
Yeah.
He might.
This guy, you mean, he'd be like, I'd come in, he'd be with his brothel of prostitutes that he openly talks about. They're all over the Bible. He's always hanging with prostitutes. What do you think they're doing? I'd punch him, and he'd punch back.
He would probably punch back. I think it would be fun to go back in time, find Jesus, punch him, and then just see like because he was a normal dude, right? So like to see an actual upset Jesus,
Ow.
like the Son of God, turn around and be like, "The fuck's your problem?"
The fuck, dude? What are you doing?
And now
carpeting
you see yourself. You go back to the future and you see yourself in the Bible. Like there's one verse where it's like, "Don't be like the asshole."
For the asshole puncheth when you are not asking it. It doesn't feel good.
Don't be like that. Like I made the Bible.
I'm not, you made it.
Man, that's crazy that you would punch such a wonderful philosopher and or figure.
I was figuring like who was not gonna fight back. You don't want to go like, I choose Hitler. That guy's gonna fight you back.
That guy was short. He was like you got reach.
Okay,
on
but
him.
there'd be like SS officers everywhere. You'd get fucked up.
Yeah, you
punch
definitely
Hitler,
get shot immediately.
Don't think about the aftermath. You're dead.
Okay,
You're
what
not
about
making
this?
it out of his office? I
What
guess?
about this though?
Is that where you punch?
I open a portal and you can just
It's out
punch
of my
right through
office.
it. You can punch right through it and then you can pull your hand back.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Then-
Doctor
then we-
Strange style. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Why not?
No consequences.
Why not
Just
Hitler?
reach back in time. Yeah, I
It
guess
would
so.
be fun to punch Trump, I think.
Oh, that's
Might
good.
be kind of fun. Because
Yeah.
that one, I felt him.
Yeah.
I felt my anger towards him.
Yeah.
I didn't live in the time of Hitler.
I would
Not
go.
that
I
that-
would want.
I don't want to
yeah.
get down dark territory here. I'm gonna punch Hitler. I take everything back.
I like the Trump one. I think maybe even like that Mitch McConnell, like it's just like a real punchable, like Ted Cruz, like really punchable faces. It'd be nice to just give him
Ted
one.
Cruz. Yeah.
Just ding, and then get out, and then you disappear. Just a fist comes out of nowhere, and then I think deep down inside, probably Hitler too. They probably, on some level, they'd be like, "I deserved that."
Ouch. Oh, is it because of my mustache and the way it looks? Is it
And then-
because I can't grow it on the ends? No, it's because of
It's
like a lot
other
of
stuff.
way worse stuff. Like your mustache is probably the best thing that you did, and it's bad.
And it's bad. Yeah, you're not even getting off the basement level. You're like full bad. Okay, we'll try to make it better. Would you like to be like refreshingly cold or refreshingly hot?
I like that. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
see
not
if-
talking freeze to death or boil. I'm talking. What's your?
If we're talking that I want to be sleeping, when I'm sleeping, I want to
Yeah.
be refreshingly cool. I want to have, I love popping my leg out for the vent to get
Yeah.
like the cool air. I like sleeping with the window open. I like being warm under the covers, but like a breeze on my face. If we're
I like it.
talking like being outside in the weather, we're refreshingly warm. I love a warm day.
Okay. Desert or meadow?
Meadow.
Meadow. Okay, you
Meadow.
like a bit of, like
Love
some
the flowers.
grasses.
Probably some hydrangeas in there.
Yeah,
some
get a couple
roses.
hydrangeas. I should have known. I should
Yeah,
have known this was going to be
some
Yeah.
wild dandelions.
Snowboarding or surfboarding?
Snowboarding, because I know how to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I've tried surfing before, and basically it's just like swimming out there with a life preserver that could knock you unconscious and kill you.
What is
Because
okay?
you get flipped over.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
You've been surfing. We've been surfing, haven't we?
I've tried it once. I was very, very bad at it.
Yeah, I couldn't stand on the board.
No,
You'd
couldn't even get up.
swim out there. You catch a wave. You'd feel when your surfboard catches that wave, but I'm still on my stomach.
Yeah.
And then you have to learn to pop up, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd try and pop up, land on my feet, fall face flat into the water, and then your surfboard is just sort of loose but attached
Somewhere.
to you, and it's
Any second it'll hit you.
Hit me in the head a bunch.
Yeah. And also, I couldn't get over because I wanted to learn how to do it, but there was something holding me back, and it was in my brain. The thing that was holding me back was the thing in my brain just saying, who cares? Why are you doing this? There's no point in getting good at this.
I mean, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, like it looks okay, but I mean, snowboarding, I could actually get up and do,
Yeah.
and that was way more fun immediately. Like snowboarding, there's also like all this machinery that takes you to the top of the hill, and then it's just nothing but down. Surfboarding is like you get one wave every 15 minutes.
And you got to wait in line with the surfers out there, and there's no order. They have an order, but I don't know how surfers line up. That's one
And
of the most
snowboarder-
stressful
yeah.
parts.
When you're snowboarding, you can see what you're trying to avoid. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have
point.
one last lightning round question for you.
Okay, great.
All right, let's say a portal opens up near you, and a fist comes flying out of it and punches you, and then the fist recedes back and the portal closes.
Who do I think it was from?
Who do you think it was from? Or yeah, maybe what's the first thing you'd think is the reason why?
Well, I'd be like, well, that's Jesus.
He's getting you back.
And that's Hitler.
Yeah.
Or Hitler. One of the two.
Yeah.
If it was like a real person that I've lived with and was portal punching me, maybe it'd be like maybe it'd be you, just for the fun of it. You'd just be like, hey, watch this. Check this out. Julie, check this out. Watch this.
You know how I think that would work is if like 10 years in the future, this technology exists and somebody tells me I have to do it or they'll shoot me or something. Then I'd be like, at least I know Chris will probably understand because of this interview and he'll get over it.
That just made me think of how do I not have a better impression of you than that? Julie. All right, guys. Let's do the podcast.
But is that how
That's
do
it?
I sound that ratty?
I don't know. No.
Do I sound that much like a little like sly guy or something?
No, you don't at all. It's a terrible impression. But that's like what a how is that what it is?
I don't think I can do an impression of you. Like if I had to right now, I'd be like,
okay.
Hey, Chris here. So I just wrote for this hour. I was 22 minutes. I know I can't do it either.
That's funny. I mean, a lot of people's impression of me definitely barks up that tree of like dumb surfer kind of sound. Like
that's not what.
Hello. I think Riel maybe has. She's just like hello, good morning. Like it's in that sing song. Oh, hello. It's weird to do an impression of somebody doing the impression of you.
That's
when
true.
You're you.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go. I got a hard out.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for joining me on You Made It Weird. I'll do my signature sign out that I do at the end of every podcast. Thanks for making it weird with me, and head out there and keep making it weird
You don't
in your
listen
everyday
to this
life
at all.
No, I
He
don't.
has a sign out.
I never listened to it.
He's got an exact sign out. He always gets the guest at the end of every episode. He gets the guest to say, "Keep it crispy."
Oh, okay.
So say that. So
All
say, explain to me how every episode ends.
All right. Chris, so good to have you on the podcast. And if you could just wrap things up by just telling my audience to keep it crispy.
Keep it crispy.
Yes!
This time, it's different. With Peter and Chris. This time, it's different.
I think I might go out on when you were like, "You've never seen it," I'll be like, "I've never seen it," and then I'll cut, and then after the credits, we'll do the keep it crispy thing.
No, you got to do the keep it crispy.
Oh, you want keep it crispy at the end before the credits?
Explaining to you keep it crispy is pretty good.
No, that's what I'm saying. I use it after, so it's after the this time it's different music in the tag, the post
We
tag.
could, but nobody listens to. I don't. How many people listen after that?
Oh, I like the post tag.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar!
Oops! Drop the podcast.
What if people liked and also subscribed?
I think we're just down here to kill time.